welcome to the weekly wrap video. It has been quite a busy week, particularly towards the tail end for risk events, so just a few things to catch you up on, mainly with the central banks. So I'll start off on Wednesday with the FOMC, where they did retain that pledge to buy $85 billion per month of securities, both MBSs and treasuries. Not particularly surprising there, but it was perceived as marginally dovish as the Fed made no threat to imminently taper that QE program. Then moving on into Thursday, both the Bank of England and the European Central Bank stood their ground on their monetary policy. In terms of the BOE, we did actually see a bit of a reaction across the UK asset classes, as some had been betting for another statement this month, as we did see in July's rate decision. But of course this comes ahead of next week's quarterly inflation report, where we finally see that much anticipated release of the review of potential forward guidance from the Monetary Policy Committee. Then moving on to the ECB, it was a particularly dull press conference out of Draghi and his board, where they did merely reiterate what we heard last month in regards to their forward guidance, that they do pledge to keep rates at their current levels or lower for an extended period, but of course that's still data dependent, so no real colour or an actual explicit timeline there for the ECB's monetary policy. To round things off on Friday, we of course had that non-farm payrolls figure, which did come in lower than expected for the headline at a reading of 162,000, which does somewhat counter what we've seen out of the weekly jobs data, the ADP and in fact the ISM manufacturing earlier just this week. However, the unemployment rate did fall to 7.4%. That was a fall below expectations as the participation rate in the US continues to contract. So a slightly underwhelming jobs report there, but the main perception at the moment being that this is not enough to keep the Fed with their foot on the accelerator to keep pumping that $85 billion per month into the US markets. But in terms of the 5-day performance across the main indices, we have actually seen gains in US stocks as well as the dollar, as all eyes are on the Fed's monetary policy outlook. But as we progress through August, attention turns to that Jackson Hole Monetary Policy Summit, which of course, when the time does come, in fact, bring it to you as soon as it is released, as well as any other relevant commentary to your trading. But in the meantime, that's all from me. Make sure you have a fantastic weekend.